Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Saira Mujtaba and with me is Renuka with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates first Global Innovation Summit of Pharmaceutical Sector. Says high quality and quantity at affordable prices has generated immense interest in Indian pharma sector around the world. Several initiatives of defence sector to be launched by the Prime Minister at Rashtra Raksha Samarpan Parv in Jhansi tomorrow. India and China agree to find an early resolution to the remaining issues along the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh. Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister projects growth rate of 7 to 7.5% in 2022-23. Indian Film Personality Award to be given to Hema Malini and Prasoon Joshi at IFFI in Goa. President Ramnath Kovind and Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu greet the nation on the eve of Guru Nanak Jayanti. India International Trade Fair to open for general public at Pragati Maidan in New Delhi from tomorrow. And in cricket, second match of T20 series between India and New Zealand to be played in Ranchi tomorrow. As India created history by administering over 100 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all doctors, nurses, frontline workers and all those who got vaccinated and made this possible. Even though the country has achieved this feat, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. During the festival season, please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 01123978046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has stressed on the vision to create an ecosystem for innovation which will make India a leader in drug discovery and innovative medical devices. He emphasized on ramping up domestic manufacturing of key ingredients for vaccine and medicines, saying that this is one frontier that India has to conquer. The Prime Minister today inaugurated the first Global Innovation Summit of the pharmaceutical sector through video conferencing. Mr. Modi said high quality and quantity at affordable prices has generated immense interest in the Indian pharma sector around the world.
Employing nearly 3 million people and generating a trade surplus of about $13 billion. The Indian pharma industry had been a key driver of our economic growth. The combination of high quality and quantity at affordable prices has generated immense interest in the Indian pharma sector around the world. Since 2014, the Indian healthcare sector has attracted over $12 billion in foreign direct investment.
Highlighting the role of Indian pharma sector during the COVID-19 pandemic, Mr. Modi said the Indian pharmaceutical industry has also risen to the challenge. He said the global trust earned by the Indian healthcare sector has led to India being called the pharmacy of the world.
Our definition of wellness is not limited by physical boundaries. We believe in the well-being of the entire humankind. Sarve api sukhina santu, sarve santu niramaya. And we have shown this spirit to the whole world during the COVID-19 global pandemic. We exported life-saving medicines and medical equipment to over 150 countries during the initial phase of the pandemic. We have also exported more than 65 million doses of COVID vaccines to nearly 100 countries this year. The global trust earned by the Indian healthcare sector had led to India being called the pharmacy of the world.
The Prime Minister said India has a large pool of scientists and technologists with the potential to take the pharma industry to greater heights. He invited the stakeholders to ideate in India, innovate in India, make in India and make for the world. Chemical and Fertilizers Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandviya was also present on the occasion.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called upon all democratic nations to work together on cryptocurrency and ensure it does not end up in wrong hands as it can spoil the youth. Mr. Modi said as a democracy and a digital leader, India is ready to work with partners for its shared prosperity and security. The Prime Minister was delivering the keynote address at the Sydney Dialogue today. He gave a roadmap for democracies to work together that recognizes national rights and at the same time promotes trade, investment and larger public good. The Prime Minister said the digital age is changing everything around us and it has redefined politics, economy and society. The Prime Minister also said that technology has already become a major instrument of global competition and key to shaping the future international order. Mr. Modi added that technology and data are becoming the new weapons and the biggest strength of democracy is openness.
We are transforming the lives of the people by using digital technology for governance, inclusion, empowerment, connectivity, delivery of benefits and welfare. Everyone has heard of India's financial inclusion, banking and digital payment revolution.
Mr. Modi said that India is turning the challenges of the past into an opportunity to take a leap into the future. The Prime Minister listed 5 important transitions taking place in India. He highlighted the government as building the world's most extensive public information infrastructure.
There is a large effort to prepare India for the future. We are investing in developing indigenous capabilities in telecom technology such as 5G and 6G. India is one of the leading nations in artificial intelligence and machine learning, especially in human-centered and ethical use of artificial intelligence. We are developing strong capabilities in cloud platforms and cloud computing. This is key to resilience and digital sovereignty.
The Sydney Dialogue is being held from the 17th to 19th of this month. It is an initiative of the Australian Strategic Policy Institute. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch and dedicate to the nation multiple initiatives of the defence sector at Rashtra Raksha Samarpana Parv at Jhansi, Uttar Pradesh tomorrow, which is also the birth anniversary of Rani Lakshmibai. The 3-day-long Parv was inaugurated by Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh yesterday as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations. The Prime Minister will lay the foundation stone of the 400 crore rupees project at Jhansi node of UP Defence Industrial Corridor. The project is being executed by Bharat Dynamics Limited for setting up a plant to produce propulsion systems for anti-tank guided missiles. Mr. Modi will also launch the NCC Alumni Association with the objective to provide a formal platform to enable NCC alumni to reconnect with NCC. The association will further the aims of NCC and assist in nation building. It will witness enrolling the Prime Minister, a former NCC cadet, as the first member of the association. The Prime Minister will also lay the foundation stone of 600 megawatt ultra mega solar power park at Garotha and inaugurate Atal Ekta Park in Jhansi. The Prime Minister will also visit Mahoba district and inaugurate several development projects. More from a correspondent.
To give a thrust to Atmanirbhar Bharat in the defence sector, Mr. Modi will formally hand over indigenously designed and developed equipments to the Armed Forces Service Chiefs. These include handing over of Hindustan Aeronautics Limited designed and developed light combat helicopter to the Chief of the Air Staff. Drones, UAVs designed and developed by Indian startups to Chief of Army Staff and DRDO designed and Bharat Electronics Limited manufactured advanced electronic warfare suit for naval ships to the Chief of Naval Staff. The LCH incorporates advanced technologies and stealth features for effective combat roles. The deployment of Indian UAVs by Indian Armed Forces is also a proof of the growing maturity of Indian drone industry ecosystem. This is Gaurav for AIR News, Jhansi.
The Prime Minister has said that the reforms brought in by the government in the banking sector and support to the sector in every way in the last 6 to 7 years have led to the country's banking sector being in a very strong position today. He was speaking at a conference on creating synergies for seamless credit flow and economic growth in New Delhi today.
साथियों, सरकार ने बीते 6-7 वर्षों में बैंकिंग सेक्टर में जो रिफॉर्म्स किए, बैंकिंग सेक्टर का हर तरह से सपोर्ट किया, उस वजह से आज देश का बैंकिंग सेक्टर बहुत ही मजबूत स्थिति में है। 2014 के पहले की जितनी भी चुनौतियां थी, उनके समाधान के रास्ते तलाशे। हमने एनपीएस की समस्या को एड्रेस किया, बैंकों को रिकैपिटलाइज किया, हम आईबीसी जैसे रिफॉर्म्स लाए, अनेक कानूनों में सुधार किए, डेट रिकवरी ट्रिब्यूनल को सशक्त किया। कोरोना काल में देश में एक डेडिकेटेड स्ट्रेस एसेट मैनेजमेंट वर्टिकल का गठन भी किया गया। इन्हीं फैसलों से आज बैंकों की रिजोल्यूशन और रिकवरी बेहतर हो रही है।
Mr. Modi said banks' financial health is in a much better position now. He said there comes a time in the development journey of any nation when it takes a new resolve for a new leap. He said banks are playing a key role in the nation's development.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates first Global Innovation Summit of Pharmaceutical sector. Says high quality and quantity at affordable prices has generated immense interest in Indian pharma sector around the world. Several initiatives of defence sector to be launched by the Prime Minister at Rashtra Raksha Samarpan Parv in Jhansi tomorrow. India and China agreed to find an early resolution to the remaining issues along the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh. Economic Advisor Council to the Prime Minister projects growth rate of 7 to 7.5% in 2022-23. Indian Film Personality Award to be given to Hema Malini and Prasoon Joshi at IFFI in Goa. President Ramnath Kovind and Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu greet the nation on the eve of Guru Nanak Jayanti. India International Trade Fair to open for general public at Pragati Maidan in New Delhi from tomorrow. And in cricket, second match of T20 series between India and New Zealand to be played in Ranchi tomorrow. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
स्वाधीनता आंदोलन के दौरान भारतीय जनमानस को उत्प्रेरित कर स्वतंत्रता का अलख जगाने और मातृभूमि के प्रति सेवा, समर्पण और त्याग की ज्वाला प्रज्वलित कर देने वाले अमर गीतों पर आधारित विशेष कार्यक्रम आजादी के तराने सुनना न भूलें। एफएम गोल्ड 100.1 मेगाहर्ट्ज पर प्रत्येक शुक्रवार शाम 4:45 पर परिक्रमा कार्यक्रम के अंतर्गत आजादी के तराने सिर्फ आकाशवाणी पर।
Welcome back. You're listening to the evening news. India and China have agreed to find an early resolution to the remaining issues along the line of actual control (LAC) in eastern Ladakh, while fully abiding by bilateral agreements and protocols so as to restore peace and tranquility. The two sides also agreed to ensure a stable ground situation and avoid any untoward incident. The 23rd meeting of the Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination on India-China Border Affairs was held today. It was agreed that both sides should hold the next 14th round of the senior commanders meeting at an early date. The government has signed a contract for procurement of 2 fixed-base full-mission simulators, FBFMS, for Jaguar aircraft from Hindustan Aeronautics Limited for Indian Air Force with 5 years comprehensive annual maintenance contract at a cost of 357 crore rupees. These simulators would be installed at Air Force stations at Jamnagar and Gorakhpur. With this, IAF will enhance the quality of flying training to higher standards by exposing the pilots to various contingencies. The manufacturing of fixed-base full-mission simulator will give a further push to the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative and boost indigenization of defense production and the defense industry in the country.
Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister, EACPM, has projected a real rate of growth of 7 to 7.5% and a nominal rate of growth of more than 11% in 2022-23. Members of the EACPM have expressed optimism about real and nominal growth prospects in 2022-23 in a meeting held in New Delhi today. Members felt that contact-intensive sectors and construction should recover in 2022-23, and once capacity utilization improves, private investments should also recover. It was stressed that there should also be a clear roadmap for privatization, and the growth orientation of last year's budget should also be maintained. More than 114 crore 46 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said more than 73 lakh 44,000 doses were administered in the last 24 hours. The ministry said a total of 11,919 new cases were reported during the same period. The recovery rate is currently at 98.28%, the highest since March 2020. A total of 11,242 people recovered in the last 24 hours. Union Minister for Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Sarbananand Sonowal, today announced the revised Model Concession Agreement MCA 2021 for Public-Private Partnership PPP projects at major ports. In a statement, he said, new MCA will be applicable to all the future PPP projects at major ports as well as projects which are already approved by the government but are still under bidding stage. President Ram Nath Kovind and Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu have greeted people on the eve of Guru Nanak Jayanti. Extending his warm greetings to all Indians, especially of the Sikh community, the President said, the implicit message of love, compassion and sacrifice in the life and teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji promotes spiritual progress of humankind. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu said that Guru Nanak Dev Ji has remained an embodiment of truth, compassion and righteousness through his noble life.
And now let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
18th November is the birth anniversary of the great freedom fighter and revolutionary Batu Keswar Dutt. He was born on November 18th, 1910 in Bardhaman district of West Bengal. Dutt spent his early childhood in Uttar Pradesh's Kanpur and studied there. His journey as a revolutionary activist began in his early teenage years after witnessing an Indian child being brutally beaten up by the British on the Mall Road in Kanpur. The child had wandered onto the road which was prohibited for Indians. This incident had a huge impact on Batu Keswar Dutt and he started to seek out anti-colonial activists.
Through Suresh Chandra Bhattacharya, who was an editor at Pratap, Dutt came in contact with revolutionaries like Sachindranath Sanyal, who was co-founder of the Hindustan Republican Association. Both Batu Keswar Dutt and Bhagat Singh joined the revolutionary party around the same time. The friendship between them grew as they spent time in Kanpur. When Kanpur was flooded in 1924, they volunteered to help victims. Dutt also helped Bhagat Singh learn Bengali and introduced him to the poetry of Qazi Nazrul Islam, which he would often sing. On 8th April 1929, Batu Keswar Dutt and Bhagat Singh fearlessly chanted Inqilab Zindabad and Samrajyavad Ka Nash Ho as they were getting arrested for storming the Central Legislative Assembly with smoke bombs, registering their protest against the trade disputes and public safety bill.
Batu Keswar Dutt was awarded a life sentence in the assembly bomb case and was deported to the Andaman Cellular Jail. Here, he participated in 2 hunger strikes for the rights of political prisoners and against their inhuman torture. Later, he was transferred from Andaman Cellular Jail to Hazaribagh Jail in 1937. From there to Delhi Jail and finally to the Patna Jail.
He was released on September the 8th, 1938, as his health began to deteriorate due to several ailments he caught during inhuman torture in Andaman Cellular Jail. Dutt was released on the condition that he will not participate in any kind of violent political activity or will not get associated with any political formation which professed violence. Upon release, with his health recuperating, he re-engaged in revolutionary politics, thereby violating the conditions of his release.
Batu Keswar Dutt also participated in the Quit India movement in 1942 and was subsequently arrested, only to be released in 1947. Dutt died of cancer on July 20, 1965 in Delhi. He was frequently visited in the hospital by Bhagat Singh's 85-year-old mother, Vidyavati Devi, who had a lot of affection for him. She was with him during his last days. In accordance with his last wish, Dutt was cremated in Hussainiwala, Punjab, alongside Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru.
18th of November is also the death anniversary of the great freedom fighter and patriot Veliyappan Olaganathan Chidambaram, also known as VOC. He was also called Kappalottiya Thamiran or the Tamil Helmsman. He was a prominent lawyer, trade union leader and leader of the Indian National Congress. Chidambaram mobilized the workers of the coral mills, thereby expanding the social base of the Swadeshi movement. This led to a conflict with the British Raj. After undergoing ordeals, he established the Swadeshi Steam Navigation Company in 1906 to challenge the monopoly of the British India Steam Navigation Company.
He launched the first Indian shipping service between Tuticorin and Colombo with the help of the Swadeshi Steam Navigation Company. One of India's major ports, that is, the Tuticorin Port Trust, is named after him. Tuticorin became the citadel of the freedom struggle in the early years of the 20th century. V.O. Chidambaram sowed the seeds of nationalism and independence with the doctrine of Swadeshi and boycott. He was charged with sedition by the British colonial government and was sentenced to life imprisonment. His barrister license was also revoked. VOC died on 18th November 1936 in the Indian National Congress office at Tuticorin.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase Hallmark gold jewelry. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak Jago.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur has announced that the Indian Film Personality Award for the year 2021 will be given to Hema Malini and Prasoon Joshi in the International Film Festival of India in Goa. The film festival will run from November 20 to 28.
पहली बार OTT प्लेटफॉर्म्स जो हैं वो भाग लेंगे. उनकी जो पॉपुलर सीरीज है उनमें के भी कुछ अंश वहां पर दिखाए जाएंगे, क्योंकि जिस तरह से पिछले 1-2 वर्षों में OTT प्लेटफॉर्म्स का उदय हुआ है उससे कंटेंट क्रिएशन लोकल भी बहुत बढ़ा है. इसके अलावा इंडियन फिल्म पर्सनैलिटी ऑफ द ईयर ये इस वर्ष हेमा मालिनी जी को और प्रसून जोशी जी को दिया जाएगा.
Announcing the awards, Mr. Thakur said their contributions to the field of Indian cinema is spread over decades and their work has enthralled audiences across generations. Addressing a press conference in Shimla today, he said Hema Malini and Prasoon Joshi are Indian cinematic icons who are admired and respected the world over.
The Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, AIIB, has approved $150 million loan to the Government of India for implementation of the Sustainable Urban Services Program for Chennai Metropolitan Area, CMA. AIIB Vice President, Investment Operations, Dr. DJ Pandian, while speaking to Prasar Bharati Special Correspondent, said that India is the largest beneficiary of AIIB and the bank has so far approved 29 projects for India worth $6.8 billion. He said 27 projects worth $5 billion are in pipeline for India, including Haryana Orbital Railway Project, Multi-Corridor Transport Project in Mumbai, and Digital Education Project in Gujarat. He also said that AIIB will soon approve a $500 million project for COVID-19 vaccination in India.
We work very closely with the Government of India. According to their infrastructure requirements, we finance number of projects. Mostly, we have a lot of projects in the metro, in the urban transport. We have one more metro to be approved in Chennai. We have one metro project to be approved in Mumbai. We have the Mumbai urban transport services, urban transport. Another project is on pipeline. In addition to that, there is a multi-corridor project including railway and road in Mumbai.
Dr. Pandian hailed the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi for India's infrastructure push. The India International Trade Fair, which is underway at Pragati Maidan in New Delhi, will be opened for the general public from tomorrow. It will continue till 27th of this month. The annual event, which witnesses record footfall, was not held last year due to the COVID-19 outbreak. The theme of this year's fair is Atmanirbhar Bharat. Bihar is the partner state, whereas Uttar Pradesh and Jharkhand are the focus states.
In cricket, India will take on New Zealand in the second T20 encounter of the three-match series at JSCA Stadium in Ranchi tomorrow. The match will begin at 7 p.m. India registered a 5-wicket victory over New Zealand in their first T20 match in Jaipur last night. The third T20 match will be played in Kolkata on Sunday. The T20 series will be followed by the 2-match Test series.
The News Services Division of All India Radio will bring a special program, Northeast Diary, tonight on the latest story from Northeast India. This special program can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.gov.in and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. Isolated heavy rain showers are expected in the hilly areas of Kerala for 2 more days. A yellow alert has been issued in all the districts except Thiruvananthapuram and Kollam today and tomorrow. People have been urged to be vigilant as there will be strong winds and thunderstorms. The Meteorological Department, however, informed that fishing is permitted along the Kerala-Karnataka-Lakshadweep coast. The India Meteorological Department has forecast that the deep depression over Bay of Bengal is expected to cross Tamil Nadu and Puducherry coasts tomorrow morning with a wind speed of 45 to 55 km per hour, gusting up to 65 km per hour. A report.
As rain continues to batter the Union Territory, normal life was hit and a heavy waterlogging seen in many areas affecting the traffic movement. The IMD forecasts a heavy to very heavy rainfall likely to occur at isolated places over Puducherry and Karaikal region during the next 3 days from today. Meanwhile, the Chief Minister Rangasamy declared a holiday tomorrow for schools and colleges in Puducherry and Karaikal region. One team of NDRF from Arakonam has been requested to station at Puducherry to help in the rescue and relief operations in the eventuality of any damages due to heavy rain. Chandra Mohan, Air News, Puducherry.
Now let's take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. National capital Delhi will have shallow fog. Temperature will vary between 11 and 27 degrees Celsius, while Mumbai will have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of thunder lightning. The minimum temperature will be 25, while the maximum will be around 35 degrees Celsius. Chennai is expected to witness a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Temperature will vary between 23 and 28 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have a mainly clear sky, while Hyderabad will witness a generally cloudy sky with light rain. Thiruvananthapuram will have a generally cloudy sky as well, with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. Guwahati, Imphal and Aizawl will have fog in the morning and mainly clear sky later. Kohima, Shillong and Itanagar will have a mainly clear sky. Gangtok will have a mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards the evening or night. The temperature will hover between 10 and 18 degrees Celsius. Agartala will have fog in the morning and partly cloudy sky later. Temperature will hover between 17 and 30 degrees Celsius. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates first Global Innovation Summit of Pharmaceutical Sector. Says high quality and quantity at affordable prices has generated immense interest in Indian pharma sector around the world. Several initiatives of defence sector to be launched by the Prime Minister at Rashtra Raksha Samarpan Parv in Jhansi tomorrow. India and China agree to find an early resolution to the remaining issues along the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh. Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister projects growth rate of 7 to 7.5% in 2022-23. Indian Film Personality Award to be given to Hema Malini and Prasoon Joshi at IFFI in Goa. President Ramnath Kovind and Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu greet the nation on the eve of Guru Nanak Jayanti. India International Trade Fair to open for general public at Pragati Maidan in New Delhi from tomorrow. And in cricket, second match of T20 series between India and New Zealand to be played in Ranchi tomorrow. Log on to our website www.gov.in and News on AIR app for more news. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.